أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم عليه رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا زدنا علما أجمعين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. By God's grace and Fadl, we are in the class number 157. Inshallah, today we are going to start lesson number 18 of Duroos volume 3. Let's get started. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, lesson number 18. In this lesson, we learn the following. 1. Verbs are either transitive or intransitive. A transitive verb, الفعل المتعدي, needs a subject which does the action and an object which is affected by the action. Example, قتل الجندي الجاسوس. The soldier killed the spy. Here the soldier did the killing. So the word al-jundiyu is the fa'il, the subject, and the one affected by the killing is the spy. So the word al-jasusa is the maf'ul bihi, the object. Here is another example. Bana Ibrahimu alayhi salamu al-Ka'bata. Ibrahim, peace be upon him, built the Kaaba. An intransitive verb, al-fi'l lazimu, needs only a subject which does the action. Its action is confined to the subject and does not affect others. Example, fariha al-mutarisu. The teacher was happy. Kharaja tullabu, the students went out. The subject of certain verbs affect others but not directly. They do this with the help of prepositions. Example, I looked at him. We believe in God. This happens in Arabic also. Example, غضب المدرس على الطالب الكسلاني. The teacher got angry with the lazy student. ذهبت بالمريض إلى المستشفى. I took the patient to the hospital. ذهبت بالمريض إلى المستشفى. I took the patient to the hospital. نظرت إلى الجبل. I looked at the mountain. فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. Whoever dislikes my way is not of me. It's hadith. أريد أن أطلع على منهج مدرستك. I want to look into the syllabus of your school. لا أرغب في السفر هذا الأسبوع. I don't like to travel this week. The object of such a verb is called al-maf'ul غير الصريح, indirect object. It is majroor because of the preposition, but it is in the place of nasab fi mahalli nasbin. Number 2, how to make an intransitive verb transitive. We say in English, rise and raise your hand. Rise is intransitive, but and by changing the pattern of the verb, we get rise, which is transitive. But this kind of change is very rare in English. In Arabic, it is very common. An intransitive verb can be made transitive by changing it to a verb fa'ala. Example, nazala, he got down. Nazala, he brought down. Nazaltu min sayyarati, summa nazaltu atifla. I got down from the car, then I took down the child. This process of changing an intransitive verb into transitive verb by doubling the second radical is called at-tad'if, doubling. B. Verb af'ala. Example, jalasa, he sat. Ajlasa, he seated. He seated him. Jalastu fi safi al-awwali wa ajlastu at-tifla bi janibi. I sat in the first row and I seated the child by my side. By my side. The hamza, which is prefix to the verb in bab afal, is called hamzatu ta'diyati. The hamza, which is prefix to the verb in bab afal, is called hamzatu ta'diyati. And of course, there is a one footnote here for la arghub fi safari hal usbuha, which is note that raghiba fi shay means to like thing, and raghiba an ashay means to dislike. If you put raghiba fi, which means to like, if you say raghiba an, which means dislike. Raghiba fi, to like. Next, the hamza, which is prefix to the verb in bab afal, is called hamzatu ta'diyati, the transitive hamza. Certain verbs can be changed to both these above. Example, nazzala and anzala. Most verbs can be changed to either of these. One must learn this from books and dictionaries. The transitive verb is transferred to any of these two above. It becomes doubly transitive and takes two objects. For example, darastu al-lughat al-arabiyyah, I studied Arabic. Here the verb darasa has one object, al-lughata. درستك اللغة العربية. I taught you Arabic. Here it has two objects, ka and اللغة. سمع المدرس والقرآن. The teacher listened to the Quran. أسمع الطلاب والمدرس القرآن. The students read out Quran to the teacher. Literally, the students made the teacher listen to the Quran. Number 2, Ara. He showed. Is Bab Afala. From Ra'a. He saw. It was originally Ar'a, but the second Hamza has been vomited. The Mudari is Yuri and the Amri is Ari. This is how the Amri is isnaded to the other pronouns of the second person. Arini hadal kitaba ya Ali. Aruni hadal kitaba ya Ikhwanu. Arini hadal kitaba ya Maryamu. Arinani hadal kitaba ya Akhwatu. 3. We have just seen that when a verb is transferred to Bab Fa'ala, it becomes transitive. Example, Nazala from Nazala. If the verb is already transitive with one object, it becomes doubly transitive with two objects. Example, Darrasa from Darasa. This Bab also signifies an extensive or intensive action. In Arabic, the first is called Takthiru and the second is Al-Mubalagha. An extensive action is one done on a large scale or done repeatedly. Example, Qatal al-Mujrimu Rajulan, the criminal killed a man, but Qatal al-Mujrimu Ahl al-Qaryati, the criminal massacred the people of the village. Jultu fi hadha al-baladi, I went round this country, but Jawwaltu fi masharik al-ardi wa magharibiha, I traveled extensively all over the world. Fatahtu al-bab, I opened the door, but Fatahtu abwab al-fusul, I opened the doors of the classrooms. Adda ar-rajulu malahu, the man counted his money, but Addada ar-rajulu malahu, the man repeatedly counted his money. B. An intensive action is one. An intensive action is one done through thoroughly and with great force. An intensive action is one done thoroughly and with great force. Example, Kasartu al-Kuba, I broke the glass, but Kasartu al-Kuba, I smashed the glass. I smashed the glass. Kata'atu al-Habla, I cut the rope, but Kata'atu al-Habla, I cut the rope to pieces. Note the extensive action affects a number of objects or one object a number of times, whereas an intensive action affects only one object only once, but with great force. Before, إياك والكلاب means beware of dogs. This is called a التحذير, warning. Note that the noun after the verb is mansub. إياك is for masculine singular. For masculine plural, it is إياكم. For feminine singular, it's إياكي. And for feminine plural, it is إياكن. Here is a hadith. إياكم والحسد فإن الحسد يأكل الحسنات كما تأكل النار الحطب. Be aware of jealousy, for jealousy eats up good deeds just as fire eats up the firewood. Number 5. إنما أنا مدرس means I am only a teacher. That is, I am a teacher and nothing else. Innama is inna plus ma. This ma is called ma al-kahfatu. That is the preventive ma, because it prevents inna from rendering the following noun mansub. We say innamal a'malu binniyat. Actions are judged only by the intentions. Here al-a'malu is marfu and not mansub. Unlike inna, the word innama is used in a verbal sentence as well. Example, innama yakzibu is only telling a lie. In the Quran, innama ya'muru masajid Allahi man amana billahi wal yawmil akhiri. Only those tend the mass of Allah who believe in Allah and the last day. Point number 6. Wallahi. By Allah is an oath. In Arabic it is called al-qasam. And the statement that follows the qasam is called jawab al-qasam. The jawab al-qasam commences with a madi and is affirmative. It should take the emphatic لقد. Example, والله لقد فرحت كثيرا. By Allah, I was greatly delighted. If, however, the verb is madi but negative, it does not take the emphatic particle لقد. Example, والله ما رأيته. By Allah, I did not see him. So the point footnote is given here. The verb is used for the oath is a preposition. That is why the noun following it is majroor. It should not be confused with waw al-ataf. Waw al-ataf, which means and. Point number 2 is see lesson number 2. So Tutur Fasam is already dealt this in lesson number 2. You can refer to it. And point number 7, the verb Amsى is a sister of Kana. It means he became in the evening. Example, Amsى al-jawu latifan. The weather become fine in the evening. Here al-jawu is its ism and latifan is its khabar. See Asbaha in lesson number 17. We also did Asbaha in the last lesson. That also can be referred.